Hey everyone, Brian from Bearable Traders here. It's Wednesday, July the 7th, and we are actually halfway through this shortened trading week. And this is the midweek video where we take a look at where we've been so far and try to figure out where we're going for the rest of the week. And it was a pretty interesting day today. We did finish up on the indexes for the most part, but it really didn't feel like an up day, and let's deep dive into that and see where things are going to take us for the rest of the week. Okay, so before we get started, I always like to throw in a quick plug for my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade. If you haven't checked it out, it's there. Beginner's Guide to Tools, Money Management Rules and Routines that I use as a swing trader. So let's get down to looking at the markets that we had today. And I'm just going to throw up a quick chart here from FinViz, or a couple charts, and some stuff that sort of shows you the internals. And one thing that really caught my eye here is the advancing and declining stocks. So you can see here, despite the fact that we did finish up on the day on the SPY, the Dow, just looks like we ended up flat on the day with the NASDAQ. But you can see here, more than 55% of the stocks were declining and not advancing, which I guess sort of explains why it felt more like a down day than an up day. We did have way more new highs than new lows. There were definitely some strong stocks like Apple and Microsoft and Amazon and Google. But again, here you can see where there are a lot of stocks that are starting to trend below the 50 moving average. You can see more below than up. And again, this number, below the 200, keeps increasing every time I look at it. But we're still, as far as sentiment goes, we're still well in the bull camp. So I'm just trying to figure out here if we're just whistling in the breeze, going along, ignoring what's going on in the market internals, which seem to be indicating that we're definitely getting at least into some toppy action here. So let's take a quick look at some of the indexes. Yeah, and so always I do like to start by looking at the 10-year Treasury yield, and you can see here this is really amazing how we just we're pulling back here, and we're sort of hovering at this 145 level, but you could kind of tell it was getting ready to break down here, because every time we made a lower high here, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then literally broke down here. So it's a little bit concerning to me, because if the economy is really going gangbusters and everything's good, first off, obviously the Fed wouldn't be continuing to buy up all these treasuries. They wouldn't be that active in the market, and number one, and number two, interest rates generally don't go down in a improving economic environment. They usually go up. So this is a pretty significant divergence, and kind of makes me, again, a little bit of a warning flag on the track what the bond people are seeing, because they tend to be a little bit more sophisticated investors, a lot bigger market for bonds compared to stocks. And you can see here, this is the TLT, which is the price of the bond, the 20-year, and it's going up, obviously, because the yield is going down. So that's another, just a confirmation. Transports, we really did have a big sell-off here, obviously. And you can see here on the week, we had Tuesday was down, Wednesday we were up a bit, but we're still fighting to get above this 20 moving average again. So again, a bit of a warning flag on the track there. Volume wasn't too bad today. And the Dow, we did manage to get up here. And so we did manage to get up on the day here. We did finish up on the day, although we were lower than Tuesday for a period of time there during the market. Again, just not super strong, I guess, confirmation of any kind of move one way or another. We do seem to be sort of topping out here again at this prior high back here and here. And again, maybe just a week where we're just sort of consolidating and waiting for what we're going to hear from earnings, which are starting next week. So maybe a bit of a week where things just pause. The IWM, again, really getting hurt here. This is primarily because the IWM has a lot of small regional financials. And of course, when interest rates drop, the financials don't like that too much. They tend to go lower. And I think that's a lot of that is reflected in the price action of the IWM. So again, 3 days back to back, pretty bad days. But we are coming into an area where there should be some support for the IWM, and hopefully the yields don't drop much further. I think if they continue to drop, I think it's at some point it's going to become a problem for the market. But at this point, it still seems to be all speed ahead. Looks like blasting off here on the Qs. Again, a bit of a hollow fill candle here today, so meant we opened higher, finished lower on the day. We are pretty overbought on the RSI. Volume was average. Again, stochastic showing we're pretty overbought here and maybe due for a bit of a pullback for the rest of the week, or at least a pause. I wouldn't say we're expecting any huge pullbacks here. And you can see the SPY here again pushed to what looks like an all-time new high. A little bit off on the day, and we were down quite a bit on the day at one point, but came right back up. Buying brigade came in again, saved the day. And yeah, SPY still trend is upwards. And the dollar, it looks like the dollar is gaining some ground, which is another, I guess, a bit of an anomaly, because usually when interest rates are dropping, it makes currency less attractive, and so the currency should be falling, but in this case, it's going up. So another interesting observation. And the VIX again, we did have a bit of a spike on Tuesday, but again, nothing to worry about. So volatility sold off today as we sunk at the open, and then got bought back up to close the day. Let's take a quick look at the sectors at a glance here, see what did well, what didn't. You can see discretionary was off a little bit today, although we did start the day higher. Communications rolled over a little bit. Again, technology, technology is still going to do well if interest rates are low, and if they're dropping, it looks like technology even does better. So we had a pretty decent day in the technology side of things. Here's an engulfing candle on XLI, the industrials. So stuff like CAT, Honeywell probably did well today. Again, it looked like we were rolling over here, so kind of indicative of this market, which seems to be a bit choppy in some sectors. And you can see here, and speaking of choppy, materials have been pretty choppy. We are putting in a bit of a floor here, so it might be worth looking at some materials. Energy again sold off today, partly because of the strength in the US dollar. I think the other concern is maybe OPEC's not is going to fall apart a little bit and not stick with maintaining the production levels. Some of them, I think, want to increase. So I'm not sure what's going on with OPEC, but that's kind of what I heard. Maybe a concern there as well. Healthcare just continues to stream higher here. Staples did well today. Utilities picked up a bit. Of course, utilities are going to pick up when the interest rates drop, and looks like the real estate space is about to break out. We're right back up at all-time highs here, and of course, even though we had a bit of a sell-off on some of the small regionals, looks like the financials didn't fare that badly. Probably some of the bigger ones made out okay. And again, we'll be leading into the earnings reports that'll start coming out here next week on some of the big financial institutions. Okay, so a quick look at some of the stocks. Still watching here. Fubo kind of looks like it's coming back down to an area where there should be some support here. You can see it back here, and this is kind of where it broke out and then checked back again. Bit of a false breakout, or at least back up to prior level of resistance, and then we sold off. So it looks like it might be coming back here into a range where it may bounce. And so we're going to watch for some kind of reversal action on that. GDX, I'm still watching the gold and silver miners. I still haven't taken a position. I kind of got excited when we gapped up here on Tuesday, but I kept an eye on it and it just sold off all day. And again, we gapped up and sold off again. So I'm still thinking gold still doesn't really know where it's going. But if we are going to break out here, I'm looking at a inverse head and shoulders. So you can see here, here's your one shoulder, here's the head. And again, if we can break this neckline here, which is right around 35, got an alert set. And yeah, if we can break out of that, it does look like some of the indicators are starting to turn up here. You can see MACD is starting to turn up, histogram's going positive, stochastics are turning up. So again, set an alert here at 35, see if it fires off. GE looks like it's trying to hold on to this 12 sort of 70 level. And I was thinking about taking an entry on this, long dated options. And this may be a good place to take an entry now that we've had this pullback, and then sort of use this 1270 as a stop. GHVI, I still think some news is coming up on this, so again, maybe look to see if it gets back to around 1450 for a possible entry. Newegg was the the big stock in play today. Started out low was about 28 and high was almost 80. Was quite the runner today, and we'll see what happens in the morning. I'm sure it'll be in play, but I see it's down about $9 after the market closed here today. PLTR, I know one of our traders in the day trading room took this on a short. She had the trade of the day actually. Congratulations, Mona. It was a really nice trade on PLTR. It just started out and did the PLTR thing, broke down, and yeah, it really lost it today. Plug Power again, another one that lost it. Seems like the only things that were really working today were the big tech, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft was up today. I noticed PayPal was up today, but yeah, there was a lot of red on my master watch list today. Piton down on the day. SoFi big down day as well. So a lot of these sort of high flying stocks got hit today. High PE ratio stocks or no PE ratio. Again, you can see here big hit on oil, and Viacom really not doing much of anything here, just holding on to this 20 moving average. Could be bottoming here. Could be a good level to trade against there. That's sort of 42 level. And X, the infrastructure play, again, not really performing. And some of the other stocks that really weren't performing today, the recovery stocks, Airbnb was a holding I had. I sold it today because it's not trading very well at all. CCL was another one. Cruise line, it did not trade very well today, and it hasn't been since we put in this double top here at the beginning of June. It's just been going lower ever since. A couple of ABCD patterns here, and yeah, we could end up. We've got a whole airspace here of very little buying and selling going on. So once we've gotten into this range, there could be a whole lot of downside back down to this 22 level from where we are right now on CCL. So anyway, that's it, guys. Before we sign off, let's take a quick look at what the markets are looking like right now for the morning. Pre-market, we're down a little bit on the Dow. We're down a little bit, except for the NASDAQ, which is pretty flat. Russell's pretty flat. I mean, all the indexes really are trading flat right now. And what else have we got going on? Oil's down a little bit. Nat gas, same thing. Everything's pretty flat. 10 years down a little bit here. So yeah, looking like a flat open right now. So we'll see what tomorrow brings, but it might actually be a pretty muted week coming up, or rest of the week coming up, just as traders start thinking about what's going to be said on some of these earnings calls that are coming up next week. So All right, everybody. Hope you had a good day today. We'll see you all in the Bear Bull trading room in the morning, 8 o'clock, with Jared engineering the markets, and then we'll be doing the pre-market show. That'll all be live on YouTube, and then we'll see you trading the markets hopefully at 9:30 at the open. Have a good rest of the evening, everybody, and hope to see you tomorrow. Bye for now.